So basically, by Sunday morning after Saturday, because I was watched, some of the staff in the St. Rose Hospital were nice, but some of them were treating me like crap. Like somebody said, "Oh, there's hell and stuff." That Saturday morning, my mom's birthday, when after I wished my mom a happy birthday on the phone, um, they were saying stuff like that. Oh, but there's hell and damnation. And then when I told a counselor that, they're like, "No, they should not have told you that. That was wrong for you to tell, to be told that, because they should have been trying to be caring for you." And that was the only big problem I had with somebody at St. Rose. But the doctors were nice. They were just like, "We just want to make sure you're not gonna try to harm yourself, because you got a young life. You're 19." Everybody kept on saying, "You're young at 19." Eventually, around midnight Sunday morning, so October 2nd, between October 1st, October 2nd, around that midnight, I was finally allowed to go to Seven Hills, because I had different therapists coming to me, making sure I was okay to be released from the hospital, St. Rose, to go to what they call the crazy hospital. Probably shouldn't say that, crazy hospital, but it's what people say. So I went to Seven Hills Psychiatric Hospital, they call it. So it's a mental health hospital, and it's where people who have mental health problems or just disabilities, they go to stay. Or anybody with drug problems or seen as a threat to themselves or other people, they go there. So I got there middle of the night with somebody else. Somebody else in that room, somebody named Jessica, was warning me, like, they don't do much here. They only give you like a sheet. They probably do snacks and stuff, because some of the nurses are nice, but some of them also treat you like crap. Some of them do give you medicines like without your permission, even though they're not supposed to, because they do take advantage of the fact that in many cases you're not able to know, you're not aware fully. And I have a feeling something that may have happened to me, now that I think about it, even though they never said anything happened. That something tells me. They had bad reviews, by the way, anyway, from other people, other family members of people that were there. Eventually I was checked in. They had me checked almost as if I was like a dog. They had me strip and bend over, because they would think, oh, in a hospital I would probably shove pills up my butt. Really? Yeah. And so they had me do that coughing thing to check everything, to make sure I wasn't hiding everything. And then you had to ask for every item, everything that you use to clean yourself or wash your hands or brush your teeth, showering, you had to use the same soap to shower, to wash your hands too. And often the soap cup broke. So that was just the rule. Some of the nurses felt bad about it. They couldn't do anything much about it. They were in trouble if they were given like the full cup still to do, because you had to use the small cup that broke. There was a bigger one, and there was a even smaller one. It was usually a slightly bigger one that we got. It was like a condiment-like cup, but it was a little bit bigger. That's what I'm talking about. And sometimes they got a smaller one. But anyway, and then there was also a bigger drink cup that they would get in trouble for by giving that water cup. And they were not allowed to give the water cups at all. It was either the bigger condiment cup or the smaller one. And luckily I mostly got the larger condiment cup. And it was body wash and soap. So I had to ask for that. They would check, every single 15 minutes, so I was being watched. Basically, I was sleeping, I heard the door open, because they're like, some of them were like allowing the doors to be closed, but just that they were opening doors to make sure, and the other ones were not. It was weird. And the first night after I woke up, I got a blood test for, certain things that I have. And then the next few days, that stuff too, it was something else. They always had to do like blood pressure thing, where you like had the arm squeezed, by that thing, and your finger, they had the thing on the finger. That would always happen to them, because, hospital. There was drama the first day. There was a fight with the other unit, because I was in the C1 unit, and the C2 unit, I guess some lady cut in line during the breakfast thing, and right after breakfast there was this fight. But anyway, there was also drama within our unit over some disabled lady who I guess had schizophrenia or something, didn't realize that she pushed somebody, and then she was like sorry, and then the other lady was like, why are you saying it now? Like, so offending. I'm just thinking, my goodness, all these problems. We're in this hospital, and people are still trying to drama. I'm just like looking at the whole situation all the time. And I get it, people go crazy in there. I almost went insane in there. I think about it now. The nurse that morning, the one in charge, it was some girl. The one in the evening was pretty nice, but the one in the morning, some whiter lady. She always had this attitude. She had this attitude, and she was there Sunday, Monday, in the day. My roommate eventually came later in the day because I eventually got a roommate, and it was a really nice roommate. His name is Derian, Gonzalez. I don't know if he even is around, able to even see this video, but thank you, for, giving me, comfort and all that, hope. But he was a really nice person. I think he was about 26 or 25, something like that. And we just talked. He kind of had, things I'm not going to talk about here, because it almost like scared me in a sense at first, but then I was like, it kind of just calming people down, and at the same time I felt kind of calm hearing it too for some reason. But they had these smoke breaks where you'd be only allowed to go outside to get fresh air whenever they called it on their own plan. I only did it on that Sunday though. But I mostly was in my room the whole time. And I guess other people were forced other like medicines and stuff. I usually was able to ask for my medicine and it was able to, permission. But you had to get permission for everything. I swear, and they checked almost everything you did. I think luckily they didn't check me when I was changing, luckily, but my goodness, imagine. I mean, they gave you privacy a little bit, like when you're changing at least, but my God. Like they would watch you when you're sleeping. So I had to deal with that nurse until the next day, and then our unit had a fight between two people, one younger guy and some older guy, some older white guy and some younger black guy, and it was just like fight over like who started it, and like was it like racially motivated, and like I'm just like I'm so worn out, I don't want to deal with it. And then they had two fights, that day. They eventually moved both of them, so I think both of them just got arrested. But later that day, I got in trouble for cuddling my roommate. And I'm usually not somebody that cuddles, because everybody knows OCD. I hate like really like touching to that extent. But I'm just like felt warm. I think we were just like nobody was really visiting us, so it was just like that. But it was seen as some offense, and it was reported to the nurse station because the nurse, it was some guy that day. It was on Tuesday. He was pissed off. He's like, "Get back on your own bed." It was like treating us as if we were like, I don't know, in a barn. I felt like I was treated like I was in a barn. I really was. Or, I don't want to say a slave, but a barn at the most. I think a slave would be an overstatement, but barn. I felt like something that was in a barn. Like a pig in a barn. I had to get a report, and I'm just like, but nothing happened. We didn't do anything. All we did was, do that. And he's like, okay, then just tell them to the nurses then. He was just being a sarcastic person. And then, like, later on, he had this, like, attitude towards me. He's like, oh, if you want to go to the activity, you can go to the activity. There was somebody else also, sorry, the other lady, I gotta mention this other lady with the attitude the day before. On Monday, I asked for a towel, and I was just saying thank you. She's like, well, like, you asked, like, and I'm just like, my God. And she, like, said to somebody else, she's like, I don't have to take me on a smoke break. I just do it because I feel like going out. I'm just like, and the people on the phone, because there were two phones. That was the only way that you could talk to, like, the outside world. Some people got angry on the phone that you just heard, because there were people who had different problems, and like you heard, some people, trying to get their rights because some people were being left out. They called it discharging. Um, I know somebody had house problems, couldn't pay like rent or something. Um, there's a lot of stuff. I usually just did it because I was behind in school, so I was just like telling my dad, because my dad was like the one I was able to contact. I was able to contact my sisters and my mom to a certain extent, but um, my dad was like, just try to contact me. Like, I put you on the emergency contact, but it's one thing I was frustrated about too, that he put his phone number on everything, but he was the only one who really could do it. He was kind of being slow with talking to everybody. So God knows if what's happening now, but my whole life I didn't even know how people were thinking about me outside of this place, because I couldn't talk to anybody. I couldn't even talk to my friends. I couldn't text anybody. I couldn't email because our phones and stuff were confiscated. Couldn't even wear this because it was seen as a choking hazard. You know what I mean? They had reasons for everything because they didn't want people to go against and rebel and hurt themselves, even though, to be honest, you can't do that. Like, there's still numerous ways they could have done it. Like, there was no way that they were going to stop it. Like, probably weapons at most, and that would have been fine, but just having people watch was enough. But it was just frustrating just saying, Dad, I really need my teachers to know what happened. You need to just let them know. He's like, don't worry about that. You're getting treatment. You're getting help. And I'm just like, but I need my teachers to know. I have exams I've been taking. It's just like, don't worry. And I'm just like, I need them to know. I was saying that the whole time, especially school stuff, because I missed like at least like 3 exams when I was in there. So I can't even take them anymore. So I'm like failing some of my classes now. Everything else I had to do. I had to get my stitches out like on Thursday. They had to cancel that and move that to another day. I don't even know if they have a day yet to remove my stitches, but they got something waiting. Couldn't talk to anybody really the next few days. Eventually I just was like, fine, like, I'll talk to the therapist. And I think I was probably seen as one who would probably like able to get along better with the people, because I usually had a calm, I didn't really get angry a lot or get like annoyed a lot like many of the other people. So I guess I wasn't treated as. But you were not really supposed to be talking to anybody. You were just like, you couldn't be close to anybody. You couldn't. I know that the food, it was like cafeteria for like school lunch food. It was like, it seemed like it was like something was just, everybody was like, oh, food, I want more. I'm just like, I was just trying to eat the least I could, because to be honest, I avoided eating a lot of the stuff because I was just like, I don't even know if they're putting, they might be just putting medicine or something. I don't even know, because I started getting hallucinations or weird dreams. One of my friends also said this too. After taking medicine, I had a weird dream on early Tuesday morning, right? That same morning I got in trouble. The same after I got in trouble that afternoon, but the same day, early Tuesday morning, late Monday night. And it was a nurse saying, so like, what are you doing? So like, something. And I'm like, it was midnight. It was like midnight, and nobody was really there. I didn't even hear anything else in the hallway. It was like one ear doing one thing, one ear doing another thing. And I almost answered. I kind of answered, and then I realized, oh shoot, I'm awake. There's nothing else, and this stuff was still going on. And I was just like, I'm sleeping myself to sleep now. Because it felt so real, but I went back to sleep. It was pretty bad. They treated some of the people, I guess some of the people had like things like schizophrenia, which is like, where you kind of talking to other people. You think there's other people in the room, and you're talking to them. Um, so like you kind of almost like imaginary friends kind of things. Like I remember hearing things from especially one same disabled lady, um, saying like stop touching my belly button or something, or stop being prepared for I don't want you taking all my food, because sometimes you had to get permission to take food back to your room if you didn't want to eat. You had to get a meal card too. You're also guided as if it was like a jail. I'm not saying it was jail, but it was like being led over. You had to be watched the whole time. Visitations too. You had to get visitations, and I only had one visitation again, my dad, and that was the Tuesday as well. And nothing really happened from there other than by that time you finally did contact the school, and that was the Tuesday. I think October 3rd, 4th. It was after I got in trouble too. It wasn't really much of a help either, because it's just like not really many people wanted to change the system in there. I know somebody else got in trouble for switching beds because she had like the period, right? And it was closer to the bathroom, and she thought that she was originally given permission, I think, because everybody was fine with it before until a few days afterwards, because nobody really cared. Everybody was watching her. They knew she was in that bed. They knew because they were watching her in the bed. And same thing with the cuddling thing. They knew I was cuddling the other person. But then they stole her sheets. She had to ask for new ones. She was like, why are my sheets being stolen? To some other housekeeper that did the cleaning. And I guess they still had her in the window bed. So they eventually moved her over to the, I don't know if they ever moved her eventually to the hallway, but it was some just ridiculous, rule. They had assigned beds, and the phones went off whenever it was an activity time. So if people had business to get done, it was cut off, no matter what. I guess because I was in a legal hold, and I know many of my friends were also in legal holds, we had court dates. So I would have had to go to court on this Monday just to get this wiped off of my record. And luckily I did sign voluntary, but it's now, I have a record now, just because I committed. Because I was basically in house arrest. The doctors also were just like, oh, you're young, you're the youngest one here, because I was the youngest one, especially in my unit. It was ridiculous. And they put everybody in random ways. And they wonder why there were problems, because they were just putting people in random units, except for minors, legal minors. They were only separating minors from those who were legal. And that was the only big separation thing. Otherwise, everybody else was just in random units. I was in C1, and everybody had different problems in my unit. From ADHD to OCD, and so there was one Asian lady that came later on, right as I was leaving. Tuesday. They seemed totally fine otherwise. It was like professional lady almost, and she was a single mom, and she seemed completely fine. I don't remember her name. Melanie, I think her name was. She seemed completely fine. And I'm just like, what the hell? How are they organizing these people? Because they're putting people with other people that are probably, making sounds and stuff. So they're just putting us all in the same cluster. And they wonder why all these fights were happening. Because people with worse problems were people with good problems. It's just like, my God. And I get I was being on watch because I was a suicide patient, but still. Oh, I also had to ask for donated clothes Sunday morning after I woke up, because I was just in a robe. Because after that, they took the other robe and they put me in the robe, and I had to ask for donated stuff, so I was wearing basically stuff it was hard for me to wash and stuff, because everybody usually clogged the laundry room. because there were a lot of people in the unit, and some of the nurses just didn't take a long time to, get this stuff out. Showering, sometimes the water was so cold that I could only do a sink bath, and I tried to get this stuff off in there, and I still wasn't able to get the stuff off. I still can't get everything off. I'm telling you, they taped me so hard. The ambulance guys, the ones that were in the ambulance with me, taped me so hard with the IV. And one of the doctors even said, "Are those tattoos?" And I'm like, "No, it's the tape." They like shoved it on me, like on my arm. Anyway, some of the workers were kind of rude to us. Some of them weren't. I guess just how the healthcare businesses work, especially mental health care. Sad, because you know it even more. And then they drug you up. They wanted me to go on Zoloft, and they were so specific on Zoloft's the one that works the best. The problem is I already had past experience with Zoloft. Those who know me in 2019 knew that I was like almost like dizzy, almost like high, because those pills, when I was 16, I was high on that stuff because I was high on Zoloft. That was the first time I did it, right after I got diagnosed. I was diagnosed very late, like I said, with OCD alone. And they had me on high doses of that sertraline stuff, that Zoloft. And I fell asleep at parties. I was, pretending, the snow in this, at Mount Charles, Kimball, which is some, thing I do, something I did for like an order video. It was snowy that year. Pretending that was coke and snorting coke, because I was just like not really in it, I was kind of out of it. I was kind of high from the stuff I was taking, because it was 100 milligrams, 200 milligrams. It was quite a few pills too. So I just said no. I want to get moved back to Prozac, because I think that's why I also had the hallucination too, because that stuff has really bad, stuffing. So I eventually I'm on Prozac now, but stuck on it. It doesn't, it doesn't help, People don't realize, this stuff doesn't help. And some of you I know out there are probably like, oh, that's just your experience. It's a lot of people's experience out there. Anyway, there's so much I can go hype on, but I think that Seven Hills Hospital, they need to reform what they do. They need to change up some plans, or the mental health care programs need to change up. I couldn't even shave too. I use an electric shaver. I've always used an electric shaver too, since I was able to shave, 14 years old, because it's just easier on the skin. I don't want to prick. I don't want to use shaving cream and all that. Like, I never even had to use that, because I've always had that those electric ones, and I got a new one this past year, and had the other one since 2017 before, but it broke, and got a new one. Same electric shaver brand though. They only had those physical ones, and they would watch you to do it, and I'm just like, no, I'm just gonna wait, because I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna be watched, and I think that's just something that I think I deserve some privacy here, and it was sad. I got a few contact numbers, and I have a few names I'm reaching out to right now since, but it was so much to take in. But I'm gonna say this right now. There's a few things that also led me to this point too. The sexual assault I mentioned earlier. I want to go back to that, because I'm jumping back and forth, like I said. At 14 years old, and I know I was fully clothed. I get it. Some people are not gonna believe that sexual assault, goes over the clothes. People can do it over the clothes. But I was in the hallways, and some people know who I'm talking about right here, because this was in high school, and you didn't know the name. You already know the name, because it was the one I was already going at, pissed off already at. She would be harassing me, making sexual comments, or making just physical comments about me just in general. Since the first day, the first thing she said was "fuck you" to me in the day. It was like in the math class. In the hallway, she would grab me, grab my shoulders, snatch, my crotch up front, the front side. I was fully clothed, didn't dig anything or anything, but it was still, like humiliating. It was humiliating because it's just like nobody should be having to do that. I don't care if it was a girl doing it, a guy doing a girl, or same sex doing the same sex. You don't do that shit to people. And that, like, the harassment at least continued until 2018 when I just said to other people, I just had enough with it. Because it was basically just being harassed. And other people just went on. Soon, 16, I had to deal with stuff when I was celebrating my, Sweet 16 turtleneck and shit. People plugging my nipples and shit because I guess they got hard or something because you could see them. I do certain things risky. And I get embarrassed certain things I do even now. And it was horrible having to deal with that, because I go for attention on purpose, but when I do that, it sucks. Because you don't ask for somebody to touch you like that. Those were guys at that time, and those people know who their names were too. I'm not even mentioning names. So those people in general, high school, some of them are in college now too. Know who I'm talking about. Not everybody did too, but it was just made me go away from those people. Because, you'd think that people were better than that, but they're not. And then, at 19 years old, last time, college already, harassed again at some place because people got on top of me. I'm not going to mention where I was at because it's my business. It's not anybody else's business. 2 people helped me out though out of that situation. I'm still in contact with them, and that was actually just in September. One of them definitely knew what was going on because they were just like, do you want to go to like this room and just stay over here? And they were just like keeping me away because it's just like this, those kind of places. And I stayed in the house. I stayed at their house for the night. There are other cases where I was like, kind of controlled relationship, I think, wise. I think I was kind of used in many of those, even like I know that like pretty much my female relationships were just romantic, pretty much. I never really had anything sexual, like in person. But I would always be like, forced to like buy everything. It was just like, I couldn't do it. And I was always seen as like, I don't know. I think the recent one though, the one that turned a little bit casual, it's a little bit better, but I mean, I think just everything going on. The male relationships, I'm gonna be honest, they were pretty much sexual. Even the ones that were webcam, sexual. There wasn't anything I was like, I'm not attracted. It was just like more of like this thing where it was just like, I want to say it's like the father figure I didn't really have, you know what I mean? I think I was just leaning to have that kind of like father figure. And that's why I keep on doing this shit for some reason. I don't know why, but I still do. And for some reason it kind of like helps me. Certain things, I don't want anything to do with the people who, harassed me and all that though. So I'm not really talking to them, I keep in contact with people, past relationships, but I don't talk to people who wanted one that I never had one with because they were kind of, hurtful. And I think that stuff also got to me because I had a feeling I still know people are not going to believe that stuff happened either. I know people are not going to believe it because they're believed to, think that, it's just drama. And it's just like, no, that's the story. That's what happened. That's why there was all that drama in the first place with me too. That's also where a lot of the medical stuff comes in. Driver's license. You've already seen the picture, but hair. That was back in July. The finger waves and all that. I mean, and look at my hair now. It's shut. Still, reason I do this stuff too, because it's the pin. It's actually my Popeyes tag. But I put stuff on the flag and stuff, so technically my Popeyes stuff is under here. But it's a Ukraine tag, because families, police. And I was also giving comments since, like I said, middle school. Hateful comments against, me, just in general, that were directed at that, on the police side. And then I think freshman year, somebody was joking along, so I'm not talking about that. But a lot of the other stuff was like, you deserve to go to a camp and all that. Oh, you're lucky your mom didn't abort you, or stupid ass shit like that. You know what I mean? It was dumb. It was really dumb. But I guess life goes on. I guess we're in a new world now. Everybody knows we're in a new world now. Oh, speaking of manipulation, I was drugged up in August. I had to go to Fremont Street with one of these groups of people because I was doing stuff with people. And this is stuff that I stole from one person who was trying to, do shit with me. And I was just like, no, this is not safe. Went to Fremont Street. I went to Lake Me. I have proof of this because I got me, smoking and stuff because he wanted me to smoke a lot. He wanted me to get the beers. First of all, it was beers. And I don't know how anybody didn't card me because, I was under 21. I was like a kid that saw me. I was like, obviously, a minor enough to not drink. But, it's a lighter that he had in the car. It was my mom's car. They still believe that I had something like shot into me. Because I made this whole, story up. But, this is the true story. What happened. Before that, I was also given a weed pen with somebody else. That's a whole story I'm going to talk about later, though, because this one was one where my dad had to catch me, on the strip going home speeding, because I was almost drugged up, pretty much drunk, I think, but I was still awake. But I had, a shot of vodka and scotch, which although the group of the people that I was with was the head hurt from it. I was just it's a horrible taste. I was just ew, horrible taste that this shit was. And I drank most of it too. This shit sucks. And the beer, I guzzled all the beer at Fremont Street, I guzzled even more beer. The chamoy micheladas, those ones that are the tomato paste, beers, all the chamoy flavor. Oh god, that shit was nasty. I was just ew, I have to really take this? Ugh, And I was chugging up, but I was just horrible aftertaste in my mouth. And everybody was oh, this is good. I'm there was one person in the car, but we were linking up with other people trying to get cigarettes and shit. I was ugh. And we did get carded once because I did touch beer, and they're he's the one that was touching beer, and they were just go off because the police are right there, and they let us off usually, but stuff went on. And the other one, I talk about the weed pen because we also had a weed blunt that night. But the night before, the first time I did it was Wet and Wild. Weed pen with somebody. And he wanted to do stuff around the bathrooms, and then, did shit. And then, some affair. Some shit going on. There's some kind of deal. I don't know what was going on, but, I'm hanging out with these people, my family, talking about shit, oh, my family's gonna know and all that, and I'm just feeling bad, afterwards. It was August 15th, and I was at some church event, I think, that night. I was staying at some church event that's the night before, and that was a Monday, and so that's why I went off a post for you, some of you that know, because I bought something, because I'm just I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do this anymore either, but at least can I get like some stuff back and like at least get this to you so I know like I didn't even mean it in like any like romantic way. I'm just like, there you go, just like because I know you did a lot for me. And they took it as like, you know, get out of here, you know. It's a creep. It was actually a creep. The way this person was looking at people. I'm not even gonna mention the name. They lived right near Bishop Gorman High School though. Certain apartments, I want to say near Russell Road. Start with the V. I'm not gonna say anything about them, but they're popular apartments around that area in Summerlin. I think they're on Russell. I want to say they're on Russell, but that's all I'm gonna say about that. And he was a creep, especially towards girls. He wanted to keep on getting. And I'm just like, you're gross. In my head, I'm like, this person's gross and nasty. This person, I made it do all this shit. It's nasty. And I'm just like, no. Wanted me to also change everything about me too. And I was like, no. This person was like 25. I think 1996, 1997, 1998. Sometime born around that time. So it was a little bit of an age gap too. I mean, it was kind of like, I don't want to say pedophile, but it may have been a pedophile based off what he was going for. So that's why I just flopped. He tried to bring me in again later on after I shaved my hair off. But I just said, nope, block. I still have the emails though from it, but he's bad after me. And trying to say that I was the one that was getting this shit. No. I'm just doing this shit for fun. You're the one that's going after me. Like, I may got hormones, but, you know, that's because I'm a teenager. They wanted to put that on me. No. You were the one after me, sir. Bros. You're the one who was after me. You can try to act all like you know Chicano all you want. This person was from Frisco anyway, even from LA. You didn't even know, not even from the east side. And this person was just like acting all, oh, I know everything. I've seen everything, you know. I've seen the massage part. I didn't give people tips because they didn't give me a little, you know. He was so creepy. This motherfucker was creepy. Asking people, Wet and Wild, you could ride with him. And I'm just like, no, you do it. I'm not going to embarrass myself that big, be like a hoe like that. Or somebody I met. Just for a friend. Someone who acts like that. And I was like embarrassed. He was doing this shit. I was embarrassed. Embarrassed. I cannot tell you how embarrassed I was. God. And the fact that I had to spend money on this person. I had to spend money because he was taking my money. Like, no, I broke myself out of that shit. That was like a trap. I might have been dead because I knew if I probably didn't apply with shit, I probably would have been tried to get dead. Didn't even know that I probably had family that would have come after his ass. I didn't want that to happen, but, you know, stuff like that happens. But, my God. There's so much to that story as well. I tried to text him again because I thought I was friendly and all that. But it turns out he was just trying to get to me because I was like talking about my health problems and stuff because I was just like, I can stay in contact, you know. But I think it was because I sent that, I know. That's how I really knew. Like, and that was back like September, right before, like the 13th, the day before I found out about all this stuff. That's probably the one I really got really pissed off about because I'm just like, people get used and people call you fake, not realizing that they're the fake ass people. And that's like an example of somebody that you stay away from. You stay away from strangers, you stay away from them. But I mean, like, I was just curious, right? I was just like, only done stuff, you know, webcam, distant relationship when it came to that shit. And I was just like, what is it like in person? Because I'm just like, for me, it was more the comfort. I wasn't even looking at something, really. I was more just like the comfort feeling, or looking at it. I was looking at the comfort feeling. Female too. I haven't even done it. That's a lot of this explains all this shit around here. These are my discharge. I had to fill out so many leaving forms because there's a copy of this shit. There's a lot of stuff around here. The only thing that's keeping me alive around here, because I'm gonna go to a good side now, is all this stuff. The only reason I put this stuff out here is because of my grandfather's house stuff. We didn't even know this picture happened until 2021, and I know that my cousin has this picture they sent me in 2019, and my great grandmother right there, and her mom right there, and it's a picture I got on the website and all these papers. It's crazy, you know. Talks about a lot of the stuff, you know, all these pictures, you know. Sorry if I seem like I'm going crazy. I just, you know, at this point I'm just showing you what keeps me alive right now. You know, the pictures of my grandfather. These are, I think, real ones, I think, by the way. Yeah, it's his 2nd grade right here. This was instead of an 8th grade picture. 1922. This was a copy. There's all the names on the back. The immigrants. They're immigrants too, but 1922. I think this is 1890. This was either Cincinnati, so I guess they were going between Germany and Cincinnati, and Poland and Russia and all that. Everybody was going back and forth. There's so much stuff. I mean, this stuff is the stuff that keeps me alive, the memories, because it's like, you know, these people are not out here being fake. By the way, that lady didn't deal with fake people. I mean, I'm just saying, like, this stuff is what's really, you know, keeping me alive. I mean, all this stuff too. Maybe this is better for another video, but I'm just saying, like, this is really the stuff that really keeps me awake, and I hope I'm not damaging anything. I mean, these pictures right here, these are like originals, by the way. I don't know why I have them out like this, but I mean, they smell the smell of them too. It was on my mom's side too, all the immigrants. This little picture, but the person having the tantrum. This is the stuff that keeps me alive, because my grandfather and I used to go through this stuff all the time. And this is the stuff that also made me have like these thoughts too, because I'm just like, I wanted to see this person, and there's so much I could talk about right now. There's a picture, I think 1917, a graduation picture from 8th grade from elementary school. It's in really good condition, but it has like the cover and all, so this is all 1916, 1917. This stuff is really keeping me awake. This is from 1907. Which I think I already showed this one. Let's do it. This is the one I got. I think I got a medium reading from, because I was that frantic to get like answers from shit right before I attempted, and I think he came through. He's also the one holding the baby right here, the dad in this picture. And I guess he was some, you know, teacher and all that. And I'll probably share all those notes afterwards. But my God. And like the note down here, his handwriting, my God. And like we got letters and all. Uncle Jack, who just died. My grandpa, and the engagement for all this stuff. Oh, this one, right before my grandma was born. I think she was either pregnant or going to get, 1926 was right before. All this other stuff. I'm telling you, there's so much. Oh, this one's nice. I think that's Shani. That's one of my cousins. That's Stan, I think. My grandmother. Some of these I don't have on here because I'm not going to show them, because some of these I did not put on there. Oh my God. This one. This was right before getting married. I'm telling you, this is the stuff that keeps me alive. The same guy that came through the wedding, talking to my grandmother. I'm telling you. How do you not see this stuff and at least be a little bit happy? You know what I mean? Because this is the stuff that literally kept me, happy with my grandfather. Just like in this picture. I miss him so much. I think the 1890s, 1899 Buffalo. It's like some German outfit because it's a shading. I think it's such a good photo. I think that's an original too. And then there's the other one, Mary. I'm telling. This is just the stuff that I use to cope for myself too. And this is another graduation picture. I think Carl, 1912. I think I don't know, but how do you look at this stuff and just not? My grandfather used to talk, and he used to talk about all this stuff all the time. And these ones right here, the wedding pictures. I already showed this one. These are real ones. These are the main pictures. I'm telling you. I know I'm going crazy right now, but my mental health is so bad right now. The 1920s. Hair was kind of, chopped off, but as a turban, I think. This one. I mean, these are real, real pictures, you know what I mean? How do people, get through that? And see this stuff and, not go surprised. I don't know. I don't even know where the other wedding picture is, but I don't even care right now. Because as long as it's not damaged. I'm just telling you, this is what keeps me going every single day. I'm telling you. Maybe it's up here. I want to show it so bad. This one right here. Oh my God. And this has stuff on it. I guess stuff got onto it, but I mean, how do you not, just let it sit there? Just, how do you not, I just look at them and that's the way I cope too. And I know it just seems like I'm just being, I guess it's the ways that people, cope, but I miss them, There's other stuff I would get out, but it's outside, so it's already bad enough, But anyway, I just look back and I look at, that's why I did the website too, because I just look at this stuff. I'm just like, art, Like, how the hell do people, that's like, I like old stuff too. And that's like what I try to it's just like, I don't know. Going back to see, my grandparents and all in those days. I don't know. So it was like a mix of everything, you know what I mean? I know it's such a random video, but I had to get this shit off my chest. And I'm gonna put this stuff back too before it gets ruined, but I just want you to know I didn't mean to hurt anybody. I mean, that's just the stuff that, I'm always so vocal about. I'm vocal, those people, like a lot of those people, like the one that showed you, let me show it one more time. Like the dad right here, I mean, like forced to change the name and all, and just forced to change your whole self, change you because Polish, I had to pretend to be German or something because you could easily do it in the Spanish side. My grandfather's side, having to hide all that stuff, being beaten in factories and stuff, and I just look at that and I'm just like, I want to continue that on, but I see that stuff still going on today. And the sad thing is, it's almost just as hateful today as it was back in the day too. It's almost as if nothing changed except for laws, because people are still going at each other's throats. And I mean, that reminds me of that stuff, bad stuff, but it also gives me hope. People are still happy today. People are just happy today, I guess, but it's a lot that goes through my mind about just everything that goes on. And I go through those to just try to also find my grandma, just to see, like, what did my grandma have to go through? My grandfather, too, my grandpa, like, what do they, and he told me a lot, too. I'm not even going to say it here. And I found a lot of answers through, him in the pictures, too. And it just, I don't know. I think it's the only thing that's, like, really keeping me, It's sad. It's sad. But anyway, I'm going to cut out the video here. I'm just going to say, the mental health system, too. Wanted to help other people. The reason why I attempted was because I was doing it also to help other people. Like I said, that statement was meant to help, those groups. And right now, I think also right now, it's telling me to say, change the fucking mental health system. I'm telling you right now. You gotta change it. Back in that day, like I said, that those are insane, like, buildings. Like, and they almost pretty much haven't changed pretty much. Except for you only get your own room now. Might get a TV room, but it's only because TV is a thing now. So, those who cannot do much because they're not in power, like you guys, just treat people with respect. Don't be an asshat. Don't be a motherfucking asshat. You're not gonna get anywhere by being an asshat. They didn't go anywhere by being an asshat. They went somewhere because they were trying to help other people. They fought for what they were doing. I got stuff in my family that they were beaten for just demanding certain things to keep their food on the table. My grandfather even said that his dad was killed in the car crash, just trying to bring food to the table. My mom, even just recent, she had to fight herself pretty much past the poverty line too. She's the first college graduate in her family. She was the youngest and she was the first college graduate. For something, I want to be the first traditional college graduate. I'm trying to help other people so they can get that access to it. That's also another thing. Education right there. Certain things are still popping up, and that's why I'm doing this video too. Because I also want people to know that there are problems in this world that can easily be fixed if we just get along, if we just do, these things, if we just look back at things like this and just, I don't know, just use it to change ourselves and just how we see things. Because we need to be, better, for our kids and all, but we can't be if we're not seeing people like mental health patients, if we're not seeing people like other minorities in the same way, if we're still disrespecting people because of their race, their gender, their religion, their sexuality, their age, their class, generation, their ability, their, mental health, anything like that. You're not getting anywhere by treating somebody like shit. You're getting somewhere by trying to get them the rights to do that, to get them to rights, educational level. By fighting for those people's rights, to get those rights, like marrying, voting, dating in general, um, you know, right to, a trial, to own a home, to just be in this country, to have them have the right. We gotta respect people. That's also a thing against immigrants. Always makes me sad. I mean, I get the whole thing, I get the whole argument, but come on now. Just because somebody doesn't speak English doesn't mean you treat them like shit. I mean, my family spoke different languages: Russian, Yiddish, German, Polish. I mean, we were beaten for doing the same thing back in the country. You gotta think about people. And you gotta just treat people with respect. And you gotta I'm telling everybody right now, fight for these rights. Help me fight for these rights. Help everybody else fight for these rights, and just treat people with respect. Because that's really what lessens people's depression. That's what really lessens these people committing suicide. That's really what lessens people just getting killed in general. Not just killing themselves, getting murdered and killed. I'm telling you, it saves a lot of lives right now if you just do that. If you just help protest against the bad and replace it with the good. And I'm already in an hour, so just do that, please. Please just protect the people that are getting hurt and change the things that are wrong with this world.